As you might see, we have a little picture of Jonas here. And this is not Jonas. This is Wilco. So, spontaneously as we are, we invited over Wilco to our panel. And this panel, Linda, this panel, are you swapping stuff? Ah, okay. This panel is about the meeting room of the future. And again, a little bit of history and background. Why are you playing piano, Lea? It's so exciting. Yeah, I cannot emphasize enough how excited I am to have you guys all here and how well this went for us today. So, this panel derives from a conversation I had with Anna, the ultimate meeting room expert. And she just told me, like, don't ask me anything. No, I won't. No, I will. Because we had a very long, we are both not the experts, okay? But we had a very long discussion, maybe 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, about what are all these hotels doing with all those rooms, with all these conference rooms, with all these meeting rooms, with, well, basically, I don't know, 20, 25%, you know the numbers better than I know. What are all the hotels doing with all these huge rooms that they invested millions in, right? And is this going to last? Is this just disappearing? Is this just nonsense? Do we all need to convert it into apartments or into hospitals? I don't know. So let's try to find out. We have 30 minutes to give the answer to the audience. I doubt we will find it. What's that? 16:57? We have more time. So let's dive straight into it because Linda, my dear friend, is motivated. But before we do that, obviously, we start with a quick introduction round. So 30 seconds each, starting with Sabine.
Yes, hello. So my name is Sabine Reise. I'm heading the subsidiary of Allseated for Europe. And Allseated is a supplier for virtual and virtual floor planning. And we're really bringing a new aspect to the future meeting space because we're building digital twins of meeting spaces.
And actually the host of our networking lounge today, Linda.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, forgot.
My name is Linda Vallner. I am Vice President of Business Development at Protel Hotel Software. We do property management system, including the management of meeting rooms and banquet spaces and so on.
Anna.
And my name is Anna. I'm the Managing Director of HSMA, which is the Hospitality Sales and Marketing Association. In my role, I organize events. And in my former role, I was at the Opensmjle hotels as a revenue and MICE manager.
You see, you're the expert. You know a lot more than I do.
Of course I am, totally.
Wilco.
Yeah, my name is Wilco. I'm still a consultant, and we are usually the bad guy on the scene because many people are coming and say, oh, let's convert meeting rooms into co-working spaces all over the country. And we often run the numbers and the projections against it, and we say, no, don't. So I'm probably the most boring guy on that panel, but happy to be here.
No, that's me. That's my role. So Linda, what shall we do with all those rooms?
Well, I think this is a big discussion point for everybody in the industry now, what to do with these spaces. And when we talked on the pre-call, we all agreed, I think, that there is no question that we want people, humans, we want to come together again. COVID is, let's say, over. Is it over? Of course, it's not over, but business is still, it's coming back. And I think, Sabine, we discussed especially about what we call social events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, etc. It's going to return. We want to be with our fellow humans. And I think the best example is here, and for those who were at the party last night, we are delighted to spend time together. I don't know, Sabine, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, sure. So I think that's, I heard it from a lot of discussions around this whole topic. It's the campfire gene that we are having all inside of us. So we want to meet, we need to meet. Things happen between people that are meeting. So that's a whole thing that we want to keep. But for us, really, we see the future in a hybrid. So we see it, digitization, we've all experienced the digital part, digital events. and we see that it's here to stay, and that both ways, live and virtual, need to be connected, and that hotels, venues, conference centers, they need to grow into this whole new mindset that you need to be not only a supplier of rooms, but also be an expert in digitization. So it's a whole shift of know-how, and the rooms, maybe even creating new revenue streams, putting the digital twin on the spot, so that you can actually have move everything that you're generating, or on top of what you're generating, you can move that to the digital twin of the venue or of the meeting room, and once you do that, you have an extra revenue stream, or you get more security into the booking process again.
Wilco, well, I'm your stalker, I'll be honest. And so I see you traveling a lot. I see you attending basically every single event that happens. Last night, Berlin. A few weeks ago in Zurich, HSMA, obviously, he was there. Well, something happens in Germany, Wilco was there. October guest line last week, was it last week? So, you are one of the most traveled people in the last 4 weeks in my network, in my bubble. How do you experience these things? Is it all coming back already? Is it hybrid in the small ones as well? Are things different to the past?
Well, it's quite interesting. First of all, thank you very much for the flattering comments. The interesting thing is, like, when it started to come back, let's say beginning of September, the first few events, like the one we had in Switzerland, everybody was so excited. It was one of the first events where we had the certification instead of the masks. You could hug, you could get a little bit closer. And everybody was like, wow, events are back. The second event comes, wow, events are back. Now, everybody was panicking about some, I don't want to call it lockdown, but some event that prevents meetings from happening from November onwards. So everybody was squeezing all of these events into September and October, or at least it felt like that. So there were multiple events every day. And now, all of a sudden, there's a certain saturation with the people. So they go like, yeah, it's so nice to meet again. And I think we're overcompensating a little bit, the lockdown, and it will level down to something which is more normal. But one of the things which is really striking, looking in all of these events, I think I perceive two things that are happening. Number one, the cost for technology, for the streaming, for the hybrid events is huge. And there are big setups. I mean, I'm totally impressed with all the items are there. I mean, I would love to push a couple of buttons and see what happens. But
don't.
When I met HSMA and Anna, they had like 15 computers in parallel. When we did the event in Switzerland, we did not stream. We had 12, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and that's a cost element as well.
Yeah.
The second thing is we need more space. So for the same amount of participants, we need much more space in order to fulfill all the security regulations. And we are not necessarily prepared to pay for the extra space, or the guests are not paid to be charged extra for all the technology. So there is quite a bit of pressure on the margin. And what worries me a little bit about it, and then I'm finished with a long answer, is if we look into the asset management side, we calculate revenue per square meters. And if all of a sudden my revenue per available square meter goes down, I'm actually, if I sell it, devaluating the asset. If I'm devaluating the asset, I've got a problem with the bank. So in some of those cases, I don't know, I'm not really sure whether it's sustainable to do all of this, because we still have to maintain the value or the commercial value of that building. Otherwise, we're going down. And so I'm totally counting on what you said, Linda. Social events, family events, because we cannot prevent them from happening. We have so many babies after the lockdown, they need to be baptized and bar mitzvahed and whatever. And the other thing is, I think we're also getting back, as soon as we get the vaccination ratio, into trade shows and business events again, because they have been, I mean, if you look at the on-the-book situation with all the delayed meetings right now, there's quite a big wave still ahead of us, and then it's going to level down. What's worrying me most is Expo Real this week, where they said like, yeah, Die befürchtete Investorenflaute ist nicht eingetreten. So people are still totally keen on building conference centers in hotels, and we feel like we have enough space.
Oh yeah.
And we get more. So that's a bit the worrying side. Sorry, that was a super long answer. I see the time.
Yeah, the panel is over. No. Anna, you're covered. Great answer, Anna. No. But Anna, you organized one of the biggest events in our industry in this area a few weeks back in Düsseldorf, in the city we are not supposed to travel, but we still do, coming from Cologne. What's the feedback from your conference, and what's as well for you personally, when you look at the conference, when you look at the event, what's different compared to the past? And then we look into the new things.
It's a little bit hard for me to show the difference, because it was my first, but my second event, but both of them were hybrid. So last year we did this as well. But there was a change from last year to this year, because last year we had the same event with 100 people and around 200 people in the live stream, so at the hybrid event. And this year it changed. We had 200 people on site in Düsseldorf and only 100 around in the live stream. So what we knew is all the people want to come back, they want to network, they want to be together, and this was the feedback. They loved to be together, and that was Wilco said. The people just, they want to talk, they want to chat, and yeah, it's a nice feeling to see this for our industry.
Yeah. It was my first networking get-together at your place, actually. So I was invited over on the Sunday evening, and it was so nice to see those people. Last night as well, obviously, with all of you guys. So that's kind of a change in my mindset already, and opens me up more to new events as well. Linda, when we had that pre-panel call, you mentioned you traveled to London, if I remember it correctly, and spoke about hot desks. Do you remember? No? That's great. Good intro, Daniel. What could be a conversion way, before we go into things digital, what could be a conversion way if you have so many rooms and you have an occupancy of 5%, 10%, 20, 25% compared to the past, what could be first layers that you see in the industry with customers from you guys as well, or where you travel? What could be first ideas on how to convert them so your offering shrinks a little bit, and then you don't get into these bank problems that Wilco mentioned anymore?
So from our perspective, I do agree with what you said about the cost factor. The co-working space has been on the table even before COVID, right? And it is, questionable. And lots of hotels have introduced that they're selling the hotel rooms where you can come and work. But that's more like having some peace for a few hours away from your dog or whatever it is that disturbs you from working. I think it's very important from the ground level to uptake your meeting rooms. So today, people are even attending funerals online, right? Yeah. So for these weddings or social events, I think it's a given that it has to happen. But it doesn't have to be so sophisticated as here. I mean, for example, Zoom has introduced a concept for hospitality. I'm sure that they are able to, without knowing too much, I imagine the intention of them is to go into and offer great deals for hotels and hospitality. And I think here, I'm sure there is an out-of-the-box solution that could help hotels in a reasonable way to improve the technical capabilities. And here, it could be just about a regular little meeting, right? So maybe I have my office in whatever, London and in Berlin, and I just want to have a good experience. And I don't have the facilities in my own office, and Hangout just doesn't cut it, for example. Maybe I want to, arrange a dinner or some kind of social interaction that requires a bit more. And I think investing that level of technology, because nobody needs, projectors is kind of over for a long time. And having, I would dare claim that a lot of hotels, their meeting rooms are really dusty when it comes to technology. And the investment doesn't have to be that great. I think we discussed also like identifying where you want to go with your meeting business. Yeah. Especially if you have just like 2 or 5 meeting rooms. What's your offer? What's your value? Are you going to be into weddings? Then get good at that. Are you going to, be the best in offering professional meetings that portrays your company well? Or, as you said, for these bigger resorts, right? Then,
Yeah, or I mean, it's all about strategy that you're building, right? So it might be that you're a small hotel somewhere in the woods, and then you're all about analog. You're all about you're meeting in person with small groups, having seminars, and really developing stuff within the small groups. So that could be a whole concept of drawing people to this space in the woods somewhere. I'm just wherever it is, but that's all about a concept. And then on the other hand, the same hotel in the woods could extend their possibilities and opportunities by using their spaces and like maybe extending it with virtual rooms, virtual spaces, to be able to sell more space and then have it on their side. And it doesn't always need to be, hybrid doesn't always need to be very, very expensive from my perspective. So we've produced many events where you would just set up a small camera, have your laptop, and then you'll be involved in our platform. So it doesn't always have to be that expensive. It's really what you wanna, the strategy that you want to create for the hotel.
What I totally love about the digitalization and digital twin of the event rooms is that actually all the revenue I do there, I can kind of bring that back into meeting and event revenues, and it helps me even with the banking situation because I don't need additional square meters, but actually I'm charging for a space which is just somewhere in the cloud.
Exactly.
That's
you can yeah, it is extending your possibilities. It is also giving back security to the booking process, as I said, and it is also something where you can even go so far and go into community building with the customer, where you say, okay, now you do once a year, you do this huge event with us. What happens the rest of the year? Can we go in and out into the space? Can we rent this virtual space for a branded world that we use all the time? So there's so many more possibilities from the virtual aspect.
if I can just add to that from a PMS perspective, I think it's really important that hoteliers also demand of their PMS vendor, whoever it might be, that this integration works seamlessly, because when the experience of buying is fantastic and digital, the hotels have to actually deliver on this too. So if you think about the banquet event order and all those little details required to execute the delivery, that needs to flow seamlessly, whether whatever is being delivered is analog or digital.
Yeah.
So when I send out the BO, it is, you know, I need 25 coffee breaks, I need asparagus soup, and I need this, whatever, Zoom with this many attendees or whatever it might be that I require.
Yeah.
But
if I may jump in as your host.
okay.
You have more questions?
I have more questions. We prepared more. No, basically, okay, lots of ideas, lots of stuff to do, lots of stuff to consider. When I'm sitting on those rooms and I'm still like, okay, but right now I'm not up to change, right? What is still perspective? What is still stuff that I can do right now with these 25% of pickup in the city? What can, you're looking at Sabine. I'm looking at Sabine as well.
Sabine can do it.
What's the kind of stuff you can do right now to be faster and more effective than your peers in the market? How can I get the majority of that pickup, of that demand from the market using technology? Sabine, and then Wilco.
Yes, like I said before, so we're bringing a new aspect into the market with the gamer technology, where you are really creating the whole venue like it is in a digital twin, and you are selling as a venue or as a hotel, you're selling your spaces in the digital opportunity as well. And not just that, but you're selling it with it. You have always a virtual site inspection, even if you're selling virtual events inside of the space. It is part of it is that you're inside a space and look around, and then you experience the space, and that's doing something with you. So we really are about sustainability, taking a 360 view on the hotel, trying to get them have them in the game, you know, rather than versus just having a broadcasting studio that you have there and then just rent this out. So you're part of the revenue stream then. So that's a really interesting point. And I want to add to this, as we've all been traveling to all kinds of events, because we love events, obviously, that's our business. What I experience is I love to go to the first events, but then I realize, okay, now this event, traveling 7 hours on a train, changing trains and not being able to work, all this time that was bound to this process of traveling, that's not efficient. So I think the currency that we're looking at that is really really the game changer here is time. So we want to be more time efficient, and we can be much more time efficient if we use digital tools.
I just have a question. I ask myself, is it the same demand we are talking about? Just to come back to the demand first, because on the one hand, we have the people that want to do a digital event, which was last year, of course. It was very much demand on this market. And the other ones, they want to have a live event or a hybrid event. The ones want to having a digital event, they don't come to a hotel asking the hotel or requesting the hotel, hey, can I use your virtual venue? So they are coming to you, right? And requesting you.
That's right. I could steal away their business. That's what you mean, probably. But no, this is what I mean with integrating venues and hotels into the process, because we see that the demand mainly is live. And then the live event sometimes can't take place. The corporates have new policies that they are not supposed to travel. So it is a more of a demand of a hybrid. And then you're able to adapt to this demand that is hybrid. And then you can also offer a digital part of it.
Okay, see, but so a hotel is well prepared when they have a digital twin, for example.
Yeah.
But is it necessary to have this digital twin?
You could say, yeah. From our perspective, yes, because it's another atmosphere. It does something with you because you are in an atmosphere that is same as the live peers, the live attendees, you know. So it makes a difference to be connecting in this 3D world that you might be used to because you've had for 10 years in the same space. You had your original event, your live event, but now you're joining from South America in a digital one.
I see. I'm just asking myself again, when I have a digital twin of my hotel and I'm just looking to hotels which are, how to say that, the interior design is not that state of the art, then maybe some other virtual venues, like we did it. So we had this live event at the Maritime Hotel, and I don't want to have the digital twin of the Maritime Hotel, so we went to Hotel Nico San Francisco or something, because it was a nice view, because you had the skyline of New York.
Yeah.
I don't remember. So it's completely different.
But I think to be honest, I think this is not the customer that we're talking about, because someone with an old interior design is probably not the one we're talking about right now.
I mean, let's be realistic.
Probably not.
Let's be realistic about many so-called meeting rooms. We have a lot of shit at the market, and it's a good thing that the lack of demand will take a lot of this creepy, crappy products off the market. That's a good thing to happen. And then we have a lot of locations like this one, or specialized locations, modern conference centers. I'm also sitting on the board of one of Switzerland's biggest conference centers, and they are really good, but they are too good for stupid meetings. So if you just have like a quarterly sales meeting where one person is boringly reporting numbers that you could share in an Excel or online or somehow, these kind of meetings are the meetings that nobody needs anymore in presence. That's a waste of time, and that's an improvement to efficiency. And then there are these exciting conferences where something happens. And since we talked about, I thought like, okay, what can I bring to the table in order not to be just boring? One of the best meeting rooms, and we can see it right here, the favorite meeting room of many of the guys I see here, and you see some currywurst on my shirt, is the kitchen. And like in every party, the cool kids always mingle in the kitchen, not to clean up during the party. So why not have a kitchen-style meeting room? We have one hotel, it's called Atelier Küche, and it's like a big live cooking thing where up to 20 people can prepare meals. You have some chefs, you prepare the meals together, it's like a kitchen party. So it's a better, more professional version of Steigenberger at the ITB, a little bit smaller, and it's really exciting, and people love this meeting room. On the other side of the street, there's an old, I don't want to mention the brand, boring, useless hotel, and they have 2 meeting rooms for up to 30 people with no daylight. If they go out of the market, I have absolutely zero sympathy. I'm not crying a single tear. But if you want to do something, don't do a co-working space. We have far too much co-working. Do something like a kitchen meeting room. That would be cool. Or do a jungle room. Do some Google-style meeting rooms. Put coffee machines, like the good barista ones, into the meeting rooms with self-service. I mean, we had one project where the question was like, we don't have enough chefs at the moment to prepare the eggs fresh, live cooking for the guests. So the life hack was so simple, I was really laughing. There was a pole, there was a basket of eggs, and there were a few things like salt and pepper. And then people could just go there, take a pole, prepare their, I don't know, fried egg, put it to the table, and you know what? The guests did not complain that there was no chef standing anymore. The guests were like, oh my God, this is so cool, I can do my own. Do something different. And this mainstream Me Too kind of products, a lot of US brands or French brands, nobody will miss them.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out which brands you refer to, but I think I have a pretty good idea. One thing we emphasized in the pre-panel call as well was maybe use technology, right? So part of that is obviously Allseated and all that. We had a call as well with Niels from Sendine, who could not make it today. And I think to really grasp that little demand that is still there and be more innovative in that context in your offering than your peers, use technology to be faster. Because we all remember those calls saying, hey, I need a proposal for 80 people in this and that setup. And then you get a proposal like 4 days later for twice the price of what you have discussed. So that's maybe not the right time to do that anymore. So use technology which is out there, which is reachable and which is fast, where you can configure the things on the fly, where you can show around like with Allseated, where you can show around people in the real rooms and actually do the setting on the fly, as Ferrari just showed on the other stage. So there's so much innovation happening in that space as well. Then obviously we have the examples, be innovative, renovate maybe, change the model, change it into hot desk. Don't say anything, you said enough already. Because we're over time, it's so good. So there's so much stuff that you can innovate. We called it the meeting room of the future, so it should not be the meeting room of the pre-pandemic times, right? Because people, as Wilco just said, people will not come back. If you think, last question to all of you guys, and we can go over time, that's totally fine, because Alex is fine with me. Hi, Alex. Last question. What is the best meeting room each of you has ever seen and why? And you just started with the kitchen. Maybe there's another example, so I'll start with Sabine.
Oh, I had the honor to, I immediately have an answer, because I had the honor to be in a freshly renovated stadium of IEX Amsterdam 2 weeks ago, and they had this awesome new room, all including all kinds of digitization widgets that you could think of, anything that you need inside of this. And then, but having this environment of like a cozy environment, but also very digitized. So that was very impressive. And this in the combination of a stadium where you know, in a complete different context, but you felt so cozy and so welcomed in this smaller area. So I really love that one.
Linda.
So I want to agree with you. I think kitchens is really, it's where the stuff happens, right? But because you're going to mention physical rooms, I'm going to mention a digital room, which was new. Because I think meeting rooms that
We switched.
yeah, we switched, sorry. Yeah. I think meeting spaces like this, where you have, you know, a place to be with each other, where everything works, it's what we need. But I had an experience, and I'm trying to remember what it was called, I think it was called Spatial Chat or something like this. It was something that we were using to have a party. We joined a party on this platform. And it wasn't a Zoom, you know? I was there, I think it's similar to what you guys do, right? And I was there and I could move between the rooms, I could get closer to the others, I felt really like I was hanging out. We could put different music in the different rooms, these digital rooms. And, you know, talking about cost, that stuff was free, right? It was limited, of course, but for private use, it was free. And it was very affordable also when we bought it for business purposes. And that really impressed me because I was very, very sick of, you know, Zoom and Hangouts or whatever. Very tired of this, and I wanted to be with my team. I wanted us to connect after being away for so long. So this tool really gave everybody a new energy, and I think we should not underestimate the value of this.
Yeah, you can experience that because we have the networking zone, and you can go inside and have a view over, I don't know what it is, Hamburg, I think we created. So it's the same space.
Anna.
So I'm still thinking about it, but if I have to choose one, it's the Da Vinci at the Hotel Nico Düsseldorf, which is a 400 square meter ballroom. Fun fact, it has no daylight, so Phil was talking about this lichtdurchflutet thing. No, lichtdurchflutet, no, nothing. But I think why I love it, it's an octaeder, it has a kind of a cupola. And I had the greatest content there because we had several funny carnival parties and so on there, and I just like this room because of the content, I think.
Okay, fair enough. Wilco?
Well, since we are in Cologne, forget about the idea of having a kitchen. Do a Cologne bar, pub style, where you can pour your own beer and where you can just put the people and say, like, for meetings after 4 o'clock, like the tap is open and just serve yourself. I'm pretty sure we would get to much better sales meetings if we do it like that.
He said after 4 p.m. and beer. That's all I understood.
Already 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting there. So maybe as a highlight for me currently, we just bought this little table tennis. As you have seen, the people have been on our party last night. You didn't, Wilco. It's a highlight. It's a connecting point. Try to be innovative. Try to have something that connects people and that triggers people to stay longer. All right, so we are 8 minutes overdue, which was intended, because I had to close a gap of 10 minutes. So that's totally fine. Thank you so much to the panel. Thank you for the panel for the meeting room of the future. I hope we could give a glimpse into what you should be considering and doing in the near future as a hotel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.